This is CBS2 News at noon.
And right now at noon, watching and waiting, is today the day a grand jury indicts former President Donald Trump. We are live with the very latest developments and a look at how the city continues to increase security. And
black smoke and the blazes was coming out of the next door apartment like from all holes.
Fire rips through multiple homes in the Bronx. Who jumped into action to make sure that everyone made it out safely? Plus, breaking news out of Midtown. A man barricaded on the 31st floor of a building after FBI agents try to serve a warrant. We are live with what's unfolding at this hour. Good afternoon. I'm Chris Wragge, now on CBS2 and streaming on CBS News New York. We're going to have those stories coming up in a moment, but we want to start with some breaking news in Woodside, Queens, where a fire has left 4 people injured, and we just learned an e-bike was discovered inside. Jim Smith is live over the house right now. And Jim, what do we know?
Yeah, Chris, as you mentioned, 4 people injured, 3 of them in serious condition. This is the home, a 2-story home along 64th Street in Woodside between 50th and 51st Avenues. The open windows and debris is all that remains now of the fire that broke out shortly after 10 o'clock this morning. The fire department did get the fire under control within about a half hour. An e-bike was discovered in the building. It's not known yet exactly if that was the cause of the fire or just involved. Again, 4 people injured, 3 of them in serious condition, 1 person with minor injuries. Live in Chopper 2, Jim Smith, CBS 2 News.
Okay, Jim, thank you. We have some more breaking news unfolding right now in Midtown. A man sitting on a windowsill 31 floors up, barricaded after the FBI tries to serve a warrant. CBS 2's Dave Carlin is live at the scene with the latest developments for us. Dave, what is...
An active scene is what we have here right now, Chris. Been going on since about 8:45 a.m. And right now we are at the corner of 7th Avenue and 56th Street. We're going to give you a little bit of a view of what we see here. The street is blocked off and the avenue is very busy with slow-moving traffic and people watching. What we won't be doing is tilting this camera up to give you any live images of the man who is still visible from right here, because we know what could happen and what negotiators are doing their best to prevent. The man, described by police as 35 years old, is seen with his legs out of the 31st floor window at this Manhattan condo building. On the ground level outside, police officers and firefighters and New Yorkers and tourists watching nervously as the man appeared to lean out of the window even more. This large inflatable was brought to the street. The luxury building on West 56th Street is near Carnegie Hall and not far from Trump Tower. The NYPD tells us the FBI takes the lead on this one, and agents were the first to contact the man while serving a warrant, but any alleged crime involving him has not been disclosed.
Mostly I just want to get to work. My work laptop is up there, and I can't do much. I'm not very productive if I'm just standing on the street and I'm working from home.
One thing officers tell us is that they'll take the time that they need to negotiate, so it could be a while, but you're probably aware of that.
I am, and if that's the case, then I'm probably just going to go home. But again, I don't know how much work I can do from home, so hopefully I can get it to the office sooner rather than later.
It's the Big Apple. You never know what's going to happen.
So how's traffic?
Bad, really bad.
And back live, negotiators do say they're in this for the long haul to get the safe outcome that everybody wants. Live in Midtown, Dave Carlin, CBS 2 News.
Okay, Dave, thank you. Well, New York City remains on high alert, prepared for possible protests over the potential indictment of former President Donald Trump. CBS 2's Zinnia Maldonado live in Lower Manhattan with the latest on this story. Zinnia?
Well, Chris, if Trump is indicted, he would most likely fly from Mar-a-Lago here to New York City to turn himself in. In fact, sources are now saying Trump says he is ready for a perp walk. But if he is indeed charged, it's very likely that the U.S. Secret Service would work with the NYPD to keep him out of the public eye. The wait for a possible Trump indictment continues.
He isn't asking for this. He doesn't like it. He doesn't want it. This is something they chose to do.
The question for the grand jury is whether the former president falsified records to hide campaign finance violations in connection with a payment his former attorney, Michael Cohen, made to adult film star Stormy Daniels. This took place back in 2016.
It makes no sense. It's desperate. And their key witness is Michael Cohen. And I think that says everything that you need to know.
Prosecutors are considering whether to charge Trump in relation to misstating the purpose of the payment in business records, which could be a felony if it was done to cover up another crime. Some legal experts believe it's a strong case.
There's been so many people testifying before the grand jury. You would never bring this case relying on Michael Cohen alone. There's going to be documentary evidence, demonstrative evidence, and other witnesses. Otherwise, there's no way he's bringing the case.
Despite calls to protest coming directly from Trump via social media,
Anytime there's a rally, I'm there.
demonstrations across New York have remained somewhat small. Yesterday, a caravan of cars drove through Nassau County on Long Island, and in Manhattan, dozens of his supporters gathered outside the courthouse.
The Department of Justice, the fact that it's been so strong in its pursuit of January 6 protesters has had a residual effect. And I think that certainly has sent some deterrence for people who support Trump and might come out otherwise to protest.
But with the grand jury still investigating, law enforcement remains on high alert throughout the city. The NYPD setting up heavy fencing around Trump Tower and the courthouse, placing SWAT teams at strategic locations and ordering all 35,000 of its officers, including undercover cops, to dress in full uniform and be in position to mobilize until at least this Friday. Now, we haven't seen much action here outside the courthouse so far today, but the NYPD says they're ready for the situation to change at a moment's notice. We're live from Lower Manhattan. Zinnia Maldonado, CBS 2 News.
Zinnia, thank you. And we are following the very latest developments on the possible indictment and the protest. Stay with CBS2 for up-to-the-minute information on the air and online at cbsnewyork.com. In other news now, the search for answers this afternoon in the case of a massive fire in the Bronx. Take a look. Raging flames engulfed 2 adjoining homes in the High Bridge section early this morning. This is at West 165th Street and Ogden Avenue. Fire department says the 2 buildings are vacant and believed to be under construction.
With all of that fire, that building's pretty close, so we put firefighters there with hose lines to protect that building and move the people out of the way.
It was smoky, black smoke, and the blazes was coming out of the next door apartment, like from all holes, coming out the windows, the downstairs door, everywhere, the top.
No injuries were reported and no early word on what sparked the fire. Now for your first alert forecast. Mild, some sun today, but rain, guess what? It's moving in tomorrow. Elise Finch joins us now with a look at your forecast. Hi, Elise.
Hey, Chris, good afternoon to you. So we are seeing brighter skies at noon. For those of you who were with us this morning, it was very gray looking out there. We saw increasing clouds, looking a little better right now, which is nice. So right now, mostly sunny and currently 55 degrees, already warmer right now than it was this time yesterday, and warmer than we got all day. Excuse me, I should say warmer than we were at this time, but we are definitely looking at some temperatures that'll be maybe just a tiny bit cooler than what we had yesterday. 55 at the moment, but already a 60-degree reading for Sparta. 59 degrees is the forecast high for today, and if we hit it, we certainly can't complain. It won't be as warm as we got yesterday late afternoon, but it would still put us 7 degrees above average. It'll give us a normal temp for April 9th. Now, of course, we have only a 10% chance of rain today, but that goes up to 70% tomorrow. I will time it out for you coming up, but for now, Chris, I'll send it back to you.
Elise, thank you so much. We'll get back with you shortly. Well, the Federal Reserve faces a tough decision today on whether to raise interest rates in an effort to slow down inflation. The Fed's announcement this afternoon comes as the banking system is being tested by recent failures. Here's CBS 2's Ed O'Keefe.
The U.S. banking system remains sound.
Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen once again pledging support to smaller banks following the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank.
Our intervention was necessary to protect the broader U.S. banking system, and similar actions could be warranted if smaller institutions suffered deposit runs that pose the risk of contagion.
That risk hangs over the Federal Reserve, which is expected to raise interest rates to try to cool the economy and combat inflation. But with fresh instability in the banking sector, financial markets are now expecting, maybe hoping, for a more modest quarter percentage point increase.
If I were on the Fed, I'd recommend no rate increase.
Mark Zandi, chief economist at Moody's Analytics, says the Fed has a tough job after the bank failures this month.
We're trying to thread the needle here, balance things, trying to do enough to help support the banking system and financial system, get that on solid ground, but at the same time continue to fight inflation.
The housing industry could be particularly affected by today's decision. Nationwide, existing home sales actually increased from January to February, but are still down more than 22% from last year.
It appears that interest rates are going to continue to rise. And if that's the case, then it's better to get the foot in the door now.
Here at the White House, President Biden knows that the health of the economy has a big effect on his political fortunes. That's why everyone here, along with the rest of us, will be watching closely to see what the Fed decides and what Chairman Jerome Powell says about where he thinks things are headed. Ed O'Keefe, CBS News, the White House.
Just ahead on CBS2 and streaming on CBS News New York, a new twist in the Murdaugh family saga after the disgraced South Carolina lawyer was convicted of killing his wife and son, why police reopen an old hit-and-run case that happened near the family property. And a renewed call for justice just days after the 2-year anniversary of a horrific acid attack on Long Island, the effort to put in motion today.
Here's what On Your Corner, In Your Corner means to us. A promise to you, we'll show up.
Gosh, look at this teamwork. This is the least we could do.
We'll be in your community.
They see a black man in the classroom. How much does that mean?
It means a lot.
We'll get answers.
Am I safer today than I was January last year? What's the answer to that?
I would say absolutely.
Always looking out for you and your family. That's what On Your Corner, In Your Corner is all about.
A new plea today from a Long Island college student 2 years after she was attacked with acid. Nafia Ikram, her parents, and Nassau County officials asked the public for help in identifying her attacker. In March of 2021, a camera caught a man running towards Ikram in her Elmont driveway and dousing her with a bottle of acid. Ikram has had numerous surgeries on her eyes and skin. She says she still feels unsafe when she comes home at night.
I still get out the car and I look over there before I walk straight and I come in the house, because I'm always afraid of leaving that moment to chance where if I don't look to make sure no one's around, like I did that night, something might happen again.
Authorities have said that they believe the man they're looking for is someone from the community, but still no real credible leads at this time. Yet another twist in the saga of the Murdaugh family. After disgraced lawyer Alec Murdaugh was convicted of killing his wife and son, police are now reopening an investigation into the death of a 19-year-old whose body was found just miles from the Murdaugh property back in 2015. Here's CBS 2's Nikki Batiste with an update.
Nearly 8 years after the body of 19-year-old Stephen Smith was found on a rural South Carolina road, his family says there's a renewed effort to investigate his death and the surrounding circumstances. Smith's mother has believed her son was murdered.
I hope to find the real reason for Stephen's death.
The South Carolina Law Enforcement Division tells CBS News Stephen Smith's death is now considered a homicide. And in a statement, Smith's legal team added that state police will be present and participate in any exhumation of Stephen's body to gather more evidence. Police initially said that in July 2015, Smith was walking to get help after some car trouble when he was killed in a hit and run. However, the responding officer wrote in his initial report, "We see no evidence to suggest the victim was struck by a vehicle." An autopsy report stated Smith suffered blunt force trauma to his head, possibly from the impact of a side view mirror.
It just makes no sense to us that he could be struck in that fashion, badly enough to cause his death, and there'd be no vehicle debris of any kind whatsoever.
No suspects were ever named, but rumors swirled that Buster Murdaugh, whose father Alec was convicted of murdering his mother Maggie and brother Paul, was involved after Smith was found around 10 miles from the family's home. Murdaugh publicly addressed the speculation for the first time Monday, saying, "These baseless rumors of my involvement with Stephen and his death are false."
I go by Buster.
Smith's lawyers also said in Tuesday's statement that questions were raised about Smith's death. During the investigation into the murders of Maggie and Paul Murdaugh in 2021, state police reopened Smith's case in June 2021 after discovering new evidence during the double murder investigation.
We don't know what that is, and so we're going to have to petition the court, show facts that would indicate that a fresh set of eyes, a new autopsy, may yield a different conclusion.
Nikki Batiste, CBS News, New York.
Well, just ahead on CBS2 and streaming on CBS News New York, a live look outside. Rain is in the forecast as we head into the weekend. Elise times it all out for us next in her first alert forecast. Stay with us.
Closed captioning on CBS2 News is brought to you by Erickson Senior Living.
We have an update on that cow that was seen running loose in Canarsie, Brooklyn yesterday afternoon. The calf originally was captured by a slaughterhouse that was going to keep it. Now, mind you, it escaped from that slaughterhouse. But we've just learned the animal will live out her life at a sanctuary. Instead, the Skylands Animal Sanctuary posted that update online, saying that the owners of the slaughterhouse agreed to turn the cow over. That is, you talk about some good news. I love a good follow-up story right there. We were talking about that all morning. We said that cow was lucky enough to escape.
Hello.
That cow was moving too, so let her move on out to New Jersey to a nice farm to live out her life.
Right.
We wish her well.
We do.
How are you? So, beautiful day yesterday. Not a bad day out there today, but we've got some weather moving in, right?
We do have some weather moving in. I have to say, though, it's looking a little better this afternoon than it did this morning. It was very gray this morning, looking a little sunnier this afternoon. So we're getting a break in the cloud cover, which is nice. We'll go ahead and take a live look outside. I think you can make out that while there are still quite a few clouds, it does depend where the camera is, which direction it's looking. Right now, a little bit of blue sky, but we'll call it mostly sunny. Currently 55 degrees. That's the official temp in Central Park. Most locations are in the 50s this afternoon. Coscob, Connecticut, one exception there, giving us a reading of 47 degrees. I want to point out as you move out and about this afternoon, the kinds of temperatures that you'll see, right? Because we're pretty close to our high temperature right now. But at 1 o'clock, we should be at 56 degrees. Between 2 and 4 will be 58 and 59 degrees. So certainly hitting that high temperature between 2 and 4 o'clock. Still, though, pretty mild at 5 p.m. What we're going to see is eventually a spring swing tomorrow. Even though we're going to see more clouds and some rain is likely throughout the day tomorrow, we still expect to hit 64 degrees as a high temperature. By Saturday, we're talking about a high temperature of only 48 degrees. It is the one dip that we have here over the next 7 days. For today, this is what we have. A lot of clouds this morning, a little bit of a break in the clouds this afternoon, which is nice, especially because we do still have those mild temperatures. So overall, we'll call it partly sunny today with highs in the upper 50s for New York City, some low 60s for some of our inland locations. Looks like the rain kind of fizzles out before it gets to us, even though there is rain around, certainly in neighboring states. The rain that we're going to see really moves in after midnight tonight. So we are watching, of course, we're watching the whole country, but we're watching one system in particular that's going to move in, giving us some rain throughout the day tomorrow. So take a look. We go through today, we get a little bit of a break in the clouds, which is nice. We'll see more of that cloud cover certainly by early tomorrow morning. This particular model showing us some rain at 5 a.m. And continuing through about 8 a.m. Then another wave moving through early afternoon. So this is 2 p.m. looking at some rain, some additional showers around 11 p.m. So you'll want to keep the umbrella handy on your Thursday. Friday's rain looks like it'll be just a little bit too far south for us, but we do get the clouds on Friday. And we keep in at least a slight chance of rain on Friday. Saturday is going to be the better chance of rain. Looks like the rain starts in the morning and continues off and on throughout the day. So it does look like Saturday right now looking like a bit of a washout. Sunday is going to be the better of the 2 weekend days. This particular model saying we could pick up half an inch of rain. Other models saying, no, we could pick up 1.5 inches of rain. We, of course, will keep you posted, but we do know that you'll need to break out the umbrella starting tomorrow. Chris?
Okay, well, Elise, thank you so much. We're coming up today on CBS News New York. At 1:25, it's been 3 years since the restaurant industry was changed forever.
You may see a busy restaurant, but that doesn't mean that they're all fine and everything's great again. You know, there's still a lot of real underlying challenges.
We're going to speak with the executive director of the NYC Hospitality Alliance about where the industry stands today. And at 150, monthly new car payments have hit record highs. What's driving the increase? Scan the QR code to download the free CBS News app. Click live and then find CBS News New York. You can also watch on Pluto TV, and we'll be right back.
First Alert Weather is powered by ChevyOffers.com.
Have a story to share about your neighborhood? Looking for help solving a problem? We want to hear from you. Call the CBS2 tip line. We are on your corner and in your corner.
Okay, I am going to tell you about something that is now a part of my regular routine. I had to just replenish it because I love it so much. This is called Better Not Younger. And this is actually the first hair serum of its kind made for aging hair. So I'm a mom, hair changes when that happens. If you are getting older, as we all are, you're gonna notice some changes in your hair. Now this is great because what it does is it starts at the root to make your hair healthier. So it comes with this really cute comb. And what you do is you take the cap off the top, you take the serum, you put a couple drops of the serum into the comb. And then it's also like a really nice therapeutic massage for your head when you're doing this. Because again, you take the comb and then you just massage your scalp. And it's so comfortable. You brush it through. It's something that I truly enjoy doing because it's like a couple moments of me time, a couple moments of Zen time, and I know that I'm improving my overall hair health. It helps with thinning hair. It's going to thicken your hair over time. You're going to love it. The deal right now, up to 42% off of the products from Better Not Younger. Take advantage of this exclusive offer today at cbsdeals.com.
Coming up on CBS 2 News beginning at 5 o'clock, the family of a New Jersey councilwoman shot and killed speaks out for the first time since her death, the latest on the investigation. Then at 6 o'clock tonight, the Armory in the Bronx has been essentially vacant for decades. We're going to go on a tour to show you what the community says should be done with this property. Those stories and much more on CBS 2 News tonight beginning at 5 o'clock. And thank you so much for watching CBS 2 News at noon. I'm Chris Wragge. The news continues now on our streaming service, CBS News New York. Have a great afternoon. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 4:30.